Las Vegas is home to two budget hotels that advertise dirt-cheap rooms, but one becomes a complete ripoff once you factor in the hidden fees. We're talking about the Luxor and Excalibur, two iconic budget properties on the Strip that seem like bargains until you reach checkout and discover your $27 per night room actually costs $76.42. Both hotels are owned by the same company, MGM Resorts International, and both charge identical resort fees. But here's the kicker. These sister properties have developed completely different reputations among travelers, and the numbers tell a fascinating story about how hotels manipulate pricing to lure unsuspecting guests. Let's start with what you see when you're shopping for rooms. Excalibur advertises rooms for as low as $27 per night. Sounds incredible, right? The Luxor markets itself slightly higher, typically between $35 and $61 per night depending on the season. Unlike Caesars Entertainment properties which have started bundling some fees, both MGM hotels use this same deceptive playbook. They flash an impossibly low price to get you interested, then hit you with the real costs later. That $27 Excalibur room actually costs $76.42 once you add the mandatory resort fee and taxes. The advertised price is essentially a lie, a bait and switch that inflates the actual cost by nearly 300%. One guest documented their experience with Luxor in a Better Business Bureau complaint, stating their quoted price was $23 per day, but after taxes and fees it ballooned to over $80 per day. That's more than a 300% increase from the original quote. Imagine booking a flight for $100 and being charged $400 at the gate. That's essentially what's happening here. The resort fee structure is identical between both properties. Each charges $45 per night in resort fees, which becomes $51.02 after taxes. This fee is often higher than the advertised room rate itself. You are literally paying more in mandatory fees than you are for the actual room. What do you get for this $51 daily fee? According to guest reviews, practically nothing of value. The fee is said to cover Wi-Fi, fitness center access, and some other basic amenities that should be included in any hotel stay in 2025. One Excalibur guest complained that the resort fee did not even include access to the adults-only pool area. They had to pay extra for that too, even when it was completely empty. The parking situation adds another layer of frustration. Both hotels charge $20 per day for self-parking or $25 on weekends. Valet parking will set you back $40 per day plus tax. So for a typical 3-night weekend stay, you are looking at an additional $75 just to park your car. Security deposits are next. Luxor requires a $75 per night hold on your credit card, while Excalibur takes $50 per night. This money gets tied up for the duration of your stay and sometimes longer, affecting your available credit. Let us do the math on a real 3-night weekend stay. At Excalibur, you might see a room advertised for $49 per night. Add the resort fees and parking, and you are looking at a minimum of $294 for what was advertised as a $147 stay. That is assuming the cheapest possible room rate and no additional charges. The deception runs so deep that it caught the attention of federal regulators. In May 2025, the Federal Trade Commission implemented new rules specifically targeting these hidden fees. The Hotel Fees Transparency Act of 2025, which passed the House in April, further strengthened consumer protections against junk fee practices. FTC Chair Lina Khan said, "People deserve to know upfront what they are being asked to pay, without worrying that they will later be saddled with mysterious fees that they have not budgeted for and cannot avoid." The American Hotel and Lodging Association has supported the FTC rule, though enforcement remains challenging. The rule requires hotels to include all mandatory fees in their advertised prices. Violations carry fines of $46,517 per incident, but many Las Vegas hotels, including some MGM properties, have been slow to comply or have found creative workarounds. Both Luxor and Excalibur were originally built during Las Vegas's brief attempt to become family-friendly in the 1990s. Excalibur opened in 1990 as the world's largest hotel, featuring an elaborate medieval castle theme complete with a dragon show and Merlin statue. Luxor followed in 1993 with its striking pyramid design and ancient Egyptian theming. The pyramid itself is an engineering marvel. It houses the world's largest atrium by volume at 29 million cubic feet. and the famous sky beam shooting from its apex is the most powerful artificial light on Earth at 42.3 billion candela. On clear nights, it is visible to aircraft 275 miles away. Both properties have systematically stripped away their distinctive theming over the years. Excalibur removed most of its medieval elements between 2006 and 2010, replacing the iconic Merlin statue with an advertisement for Dick's Last Resort. Luxor underwent a $300 million de-theming renovation in 2007, scaling back its Egyptian motifs in favor of generic modern casino aesthetics. This transformation reflects a broader shift in how these properties position themselves. They are no longer selling fantasy and escapism. They are selling the cheapest possible entry point to the Las Vegas Strip, then making their money on fees and services. The guest experience tells the real story. By 2025, Luxor had earned a devastating 2.5-star rating on Yelp and just 1.5 stars on TripAdvisor. Complaints range from outdated elevators and musty-smelling rooms to horrible customer service and a lack of basic amenities like coffee makers and mini fridges. Excalibur fares slightly better in reviews, but guests consistently complain about the dark, cramped rooms and dated furnishings. One reviewer said the bed was very old and the mattress was uncomfortable, while another complained about the lack of any room amenities. The gaming floors reflect this budget positioning too. Both casinos are substantial. Luxor has 1,100 slot machines and 62 table games. Excalibur has fewer table games, but plenty of slots. They cater to low-limit players and tourists rather than serious gamblers. Both properties operate under oversight from the Nevada Gaming Control Board, which has been monitoring the industry's shift toward fee-based revenue models. What is particularly frustrating for consumers is that both hotels are owned by the same company and operate under identical fee structures, yet they compete against each other for the budget market. It is a perfect example of corporate manipulation. The company creates the illusion of choice while controlling both options. The fee increases have accelerated dramatically. Both properties raised their resort fees by 22% in the last year alone. Deutsche Bank estimates that resort fees across Las Vegas are up 13% year over year, adding about $6 per night to the average stay. This aggressive fee strategy is backfiring on Las Vegas as a whole. Tourism dropped 7.5% in 2025, with 38.5 million visitors compared to 41.7 million the previous year. December saw a particularly sharp 9.2% decline. Industry analysts point directly to the perception of nickel and diming as a major factor driving away price-sensitive visitors. Clark County room tax receipts, which fund tourism marketing, fell by $12.3 million in the fall quarter, a 14% drop that represents the worst performance since the COVID-19 pandemic. The city that built its reputation on value is pricing out its core customer base. MGM's defense is predictable corporate speak about marketplace standards and staying competitive. But when your competition is other MGM properties using identical pricing schemes, you are not really competing, you are colluding. The real tragedy is what these properties could have been. Luxor's pyramid remains one of the most recognizable landmarks in Las Vegas, and Excalibur's castle design was genuinely ambitious for its time. Instead of leveraging these unique assets, MGM has turned them into generic budget boxes that happen to have interesting exteriors. The new rules from the Federal Trade Commission offer some hope for transparency, but enforcement remains a question mark. As of early 2025, consumer advocates were already noting that some MGM properties were not fully complying with the disclosure requirements, finding ways to obscure fees even under the new regulations. For travelers trying to choose between these two properties, the decision often comes down to minor differences. Luxor has been updating rooms more frequently and offers a spa facility that Excalibur lacks. The pyramid's unique elevator system, inclinators that travel at a 39-degree angle, ranks as the fourth strangest elevator system in the world according to Popular Mechanics. Both properties connect to the nearby Mandalay Bay through covered walkways, creating MGM's Southern Strip complex. Excalibur holds the distinction of being the world's largest buyer of Cornish game hens, having served 6.7 million through its Tournament of Kings show. But even this quirky claim to fame feels hollow when you are paying $76 for a $27 room. The bottom line is that both Luxor and Excalibur represent everything wrong with modern Las Vegas pricing. They have abandoned their distinctive identities in favor of a race to the bottom, using deceptive advertising to mask the true cost of a stay. Whether you choose the pyramid or the castle, you are getting the same raw deal, a budget room at premium prices, wrapped in enough fees to make your head spin. The real winner here is not the guest, or even the hotels themselves. It is the shareholders who benefit from this elaborate shell game that turns advertised bargains into expensive disappointments.